when I posted it, it was at like 1.2 million in just hours. I literally went to bed, woke up, already past 1 million. And I was like, shoot, went up to like 50 million in just a couple months. It exploded on shorts and it went from 70K to the now 200 million or something. I always just think the power of social media, the community that can be built there, just crazy. I'm not going to turn into some Mr. Beast type of person where I'm just making videos with no soul. I want to make videos that even if they don't do as well, I'm really proud of, and it touches that one person, you know? I don't think I've ever told this story, but, you know, real ones will know, like,
Sebby Clemens, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Excited to be here.
You're welcome, bro. Excited to have you. It's been a long time coming, and a lot of late night conversations on the phone.
Yeah.
But I've been really blessed by your story and your testimony and stuff. So I'm stoked to talk about it.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, bro. And you're out in LA, bro. You haven't been out here in a while.
Yeah.
So it's good to have you out.
Super excited.
Yeah.
I love it here. It's amazing.
Yeah. What's your favorite part?
I don't know. I think the good thing I like about California is there's everything. There's like,
True.
I mean, you don't have to just be in LA. Like you can go upstate or downstate, and there's everything. Like every sort of like there's mountains, there's desert in some areas, there's forests, there's like nature, there's the urban city, you know, downtown, whatever, like everything.
Literally.
So,
yeah. Jack of all trades.
Yeah.
Kind of like you, bro. Kind of like you. We'll talk about that before we get ahead of ourselves. Tell me about the backflip, dude. Why did you backflip off of a stage at your graduation and absolutely take the internet by storm?
Man, I don't know. I see any sort of public outing as an opportunity to do something fun, and then I'm naturally an entertainer, and I'm naturally just someone who likes to please the masses or entertain the masses, right? And growing up watching Jake and Logan Paul and those kind of guys, like just, you know, do these crazy stunts and things to entertain people. I've always kind of been coded to do that. And as an acrobat, that's kind of like something I just like to do is, you know, crazy stuff that shocks people. So
you have a background in like gymnastics, right?
Yeah. So I was a gymnast for 7 years and New Mexico state champion.
No way.
Competed for a long time, traveled, did all that, and
that's
super
wild.
Fun. So
I did not know that. I didn't know you were a state champion. I just knew you had like a background.
Oh yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah, that was cool. That was like, I think my last year I did gym, I took state champ.
Wow.
And that was kind of like a good way to end it and be done with that chapter and end on a high note, you know? So
just backflipping off stages after that.
Yeah, I guess I just, but yeah, I wanted to do something cool, something exciting. And I've seen people backflip off or on stage, you know, like usually it's on the stage when they walk across. Like my homies have done it who are in gymnastics with me. And it's just kind of like a thing that anyone that backflips does at their graduation. So my initial thought was like, how can I take this and make it like, bring it up to the next level and make it the next extreme and also make a viral moment. So the first thing I thought was I can turn this into a piece of content and I can do something that goes super viral if done correctly. So let me just think about a good concept, and then the confetti thing came to mind. Like, let me combine the confetti with it. I've never seen that before. It's new, it's unique. And then once I saw the stage design and we did rehearsal and things, I was like, shoot, the stage is small. It's a decent height. I can flip off, hopefully land
like
it.
Flipping off a rock and like on the beach or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I was like, it would be even cooler to flip off the stage rather than just a flat backflip that anybody can do. I'll make it even riskier by flipping off, throw confetti. It'll be a celebration. Hopefully the crowd goes wild and I have a viral moment. So,
and you got it, bro.
Yeah, I called up
37 million views on the original video alone.
Yeah,
I don't know what
YouTube,
the total tally is.
Yeah. I think it's close to 1 billion. Like total everything. Like
easily,
it's crazy.
Bro. Which is nuts. Not many people get 1 billion views.
Yeah, it's wild. But yeah, a lot of people think it was just a random thing that like some person just recorded. But no, I called up my cousin Jacob. I was like, dude, like, you're my cameraman.
Yeah.
You know, here's my camera. Here's the settings.
Mm-hmm.
So he kind of knew a cue when to walk up. So he walked up right in the middle, like in front of everybody, like stood at the very
it's
front.
It's a front row
and
view.
just,
it's not like you got this like rando on the side, just like pulled out his phone real quick.
Exactly.
You're very intentional with the.
And he was shooting, you know, 4K at the fixed lens that I wanted, exactly how and he got it and perfect. So
captured the moment and sent it to the world. Dude.
Rest is history. Yeah.
Dude, how did it feel when all those views started coming in? Because I mean, I'm sure you thought it would go viral, but to think that someone like video would go mega viral like that.
Right. Yeah.
Nuts.
I mean, I expected it to go viral. My hope was that it would get at least 1 million views. That was kind of my aim and my goal for it. And I expected it to do that well. But when I posted it 2 days later, and then I woke up that next night, it hadn't even been 10 hours since I posted the video. It was at like 1.2 million in just hours. Like, crazy. I literally went to bed, woke up, and already past 1 million. And I was like, shoot. Jeez. And that was on TikTok. So it got the original splurge on TikTok, went up to like 50 million in just a couple months. Like, just crazy. Wow. And YouTube Shorts, I posted it as well. And it did like 70,000 views in like probably 8-9 months. It didn't really take off. And then randomly, year and a half later, it exploded on Shorts. And it just started surging, and then it went from 70K to the now 200 million or something, like way later after it happened. And so a lot of people had already seen it on TikTok and seen it on, you know, other platforms and reposts of like House of Highlights and Overtime. But now it was getting traction on YouTube literally like months and months later, which was just crazy. Algorithm picked it up. So
that's nuts. The fact that something can go, you know, 1-2 months without getting many views, and then suddenly there's like this resurgence. Like one person like finds it, shares it, another person does, and it just starts to like ignite the fire again.
Right.
Just kind of like there was like kindling there. There was like embers essentially.
Yeah.
And then out of the embers, just boom, just massive flame.
Yeah.
That's wild, bro. Oh, did you have any like crazy reactions to it from people across the internet where, I don't know, just anything unique?
Yeah, I had a lot of people duet it on TikTok originally, which is like the cool thing about TikTok, because you get the duets, you can see, you know, all of that. And so I guess it reached a very foreign audience, people in India, across the world. So
that's where you get the views, dude.
Yeah,
that's where
literally,
you get the views.
Yeah, I think I know on YouTube for sure that like 80 to 90% was India for the viewership, but which I have a good chunk of subscribers in India as well. Yeah. I had just a lot of people duetting the video and kind of just reacting to it blindly, and then just like smiling, laughing. That was really cool to see that something I created was having a positive impact. And although it's a silly, stupid, you know, stunt, it's, you know, seeing people actually smile and laugh and be shocked about it and whatever, like, that's the reason why I do what I do. And that's just super cool to see that. And so,
yeah, bro, you translate joy over a piece of content that transcends language even.
Right.
You know,
right.
It's like you don't even have to be speaking or saying anything to encourage people. Just your actions alone speak
and
for
it's
themselves.
You know, I didn't talk. There was no, you know, it was just a song, and it was Congratulations by Post Malone. I chose as the song.
Yeah.
I chose that. I was curious on what song to use or what to pick. Like, there's a few different songs that I had overlaid with the video. They just didn't fit. And then I was like, I love Post Malone. Like, this song just gets me hyped. It feels like it's cliche, but it feels right. And so I lined it up perfectly to where the beat drop, you know, matched the pop, and it just worked. And I think people really, I will contribute part of that success to the song as well. And it just,
I would say so.
You know,
I would say so, because I think that song is used for scenarios like that. Like, congratulations, you graduated. Congratulations, like, you got a job promotion. Like, people use that song, or they hear that song, and they always use that in like memes, people send it in like text messages,
Right.
you know, text groups, like congratulations. So I think just the subconscious of humans and the reach that song has across the world too 100% played a factor in that, I think.
Oh yeah. And I mean, I think it paid off because probably the craziest reaction was when Post Malone himself commented on the video.
No way.
And so
What'd he say?
was just like, he commented, congratulations.
Of course, dude.
And
Why
I was like,
wouldn't he?
dude, thank you. And I responded to his comment with a video. And I was like, thank you, Posty. And I was like, I got a couple friends, my cousin in the park, and I popped confetti again. I just did a backflip, and everyone like huddled and came and tackled me. And it was just like a fun like celebration, like thank you, Posty. And he saw the reaction too, and he liked the reaction. And I thought that was cool.
That is cool.
He saw not only the original commented, but I replied to it, and then I saw like his official account liked that one too. And so like he was acknowledging it. I was like, oh, that's cool.
No, that is super cool, especially to get kind of like respect from an artist that big. Yeah, I mean, who wouldn't like that, bro?
So sick. Heck yeah.
That's dope, dude. Dude, what got you into the creative world? Like, from flipping, from gymnastics, what made you think like, now I'm going to pick up a camera and start doing this thing?
Dude, my story is so long, and I don't think I'll ever, I mean, I do a lot of these where like people interview me, ask me questions, how I got into things, and like I feel like I'll never truly be able to answer that question in like an accurate way because it's just such a long and deep story. So maybe when there's like a documentary or a movie one day about me, like maybe they'll have the time to cover it, but for now I just say that like I've always been creatively in tune with like just that side of me. And you know, I grew up just being really hyper and just energetic, and my dad taught me how to draw at a young age, and I've been drawing since, you know, I was a kid. So just always being bought art supplies and painting and drawing and sketchbooks. I've had millions of sketchbooks and pages that are filled out, and you know, so drawing was kind of my thing for a long time, and I still sketch every now and then, but I got really into that. And then I saw Justin Bieber one day on like YouTube, saw the Baby music video, I think. And, you know, that was like insane. It was viral. It was big. And a lot of people were hating on this dude. And I was just like, dang, like, I want to be like that guy. Like, that's cool. And so I got really inspired by this young kid who had, you know, came from this town in Canada who was a nobody and then just blew up and became the biggest star on the planet. I thought that was just so cool. And I was like, I could see me doing that. And so if he can do it, why can't I? So I kind of had this idea, like, I want to be an entertainer like that. And so, you know, I had always made videos on iPods and my little DSs and, you know, just vlogging myself and talking to the camera and getting into all that. It was cool. And finally I got to the age where my parents were very like protective over, like they wouldn't let me post videos like when I was 10 years old, you know, like they just were strict. And so
which is a good thing, I think.
Not to get into that, but I totally respect that, and I think it was for the best for sure. But
bro, I was super sheltered growing up, man. I didn't even have a TV till we were like, I don't know, so I was like 13 or something.
Shoot, you know how it is then.
No video games, no phones. Like, got my first phone when I was like a junior in high school.
Shoot,
dude. It's a rough life, bro.
So it was, you know, I this is crazy. I haven't told this at all. Like, I don't think I've ever told this story, but you know, real ones will know like that's kind of how it is. But I wanted to make videos, but my mom kind of wouldn't. She wasn't with me. She wanted me to be safe and protected. But I came up with the idea to make videos with my friends and create a channel with my two best friends, Evan and Luke. And I wanted to do trick shot videos like Dude Perfect. So we came up with Dude No Way. And it was our trick shot group of us 3 friends. So we made a trick shot video. I showed it to my mom, and she thought it was fine because 3 different kids managing it rather than just one. It's safer. It's, you know, whatever. So we created a channel called Dude No Way. It's still out there. If you search for it, you might find it. There's videos. But we did trick shots.
Put the link in description.
We did trick shots, and we're all gymnasts. So we would do flips with the shots, crazy, you know, footballs off the roof and in the basket, like, you know, and we did some cool stuff. We wanted to be the next Dude Perfect. And so we did that. And then it kind of gave me an excuse to start a personal channel to kind of document behind the scenes of the Dude No Way, because we had like 70 subscribers. And so I was like, I'll use this as an excuse to be like, Mom, you know, I'm helping our main channel. And so that's kind of what I did. They created their own personal channels, my friends Evan and Luke, and we all kind of made vlogs. So my first video on YouTube ever is a BTS video of our Halloween trick shot video that we were filming. And once that happened, I just was like, this is so cool, making like my own style vlog, just talking. And so I was like, let me just do more. And so I started doing more vlogs and like YouTuber stuff, and then that's kind of what got me into the YouTube game. And, you know, with YouTube, it's about cameras and gear and everyone talks about it. So I got into cameras and gear, researching, learning about what cameras are good, you know, and whatever. And then got my first DSLR in 2020, I think. Wow. And that was kind of like a turning point where I upgraded my setup, and I had the ability to, you know, do new things.
It's like every creator has that moment when they like get the DSLR and they just like feel like a new sense of power when it comes to creating, you know? One, it gives you confidence that you like have a big boy camera now. And then two, it really does give you like a little bit more of an edge, and you start to, I feel like, create and push boundaries a little bit more because you do have that confidence. And you're just like, I got the 1.8 lens, got the little camera like ready to go. Let's shoot stuff. Let's make stuff happen, you know?
Yeah, I was excited. And it was my dream camera. Like, I had wanted that camera. It was the Canon 90D. And I wanted the 70D back when that was popping. And then the 80. And so I got the newest version. I was super excited. It was what all the big YouTubers used. Like, I had the gear. You know, my parents helped me out. They hooked me up with that, and like, super hyped. And it gave me the ability to take photos. So I started taking photos, and then getting into the professional world of it. I had been watching Peter McKinnon since he had probably 50,000 subscribers. And I learned a lot through his videos, and that's kind of how I got picked up into that world of photo,
because you did a lot of
video.
Tutorials for a while.
So I learned so much from just watching a ton of his videos, and then that's kind of how I got into where I'm at now.
That's wild, bro. And yeah, I mean, now you're crushing it. You've shot for people like Lil Wayne and some other rappers, and you've done some cool work for Marvel too. And you know, you're kind of carving your way a little bit, and you're entertaining people too. Right. Which I feel like is a super cool thing. How do you capture someone's attention? How do you entertain them? And how do you retain them?
I think you have to provide some sort of value with that. You have to just give them kind of a reason to keep watching, or a motive to be there, you know? Because even if they're not thinking about that while they're watching, which we're not, it's subconsciously happening in the brain where they're watching something and it's like, you know, this isn't interesting, or it doesn't benefit me, so I want to watch something else. So I look at
Shark Tank, Mark Cuban, I'm out.
Exactly. Like, you have to be very convincing, and you almost have to sell yourself, right? So with entertainment, I think it's just providing an entertaining value of something like, I can't take my eyes off of it, you know? And that's why I think the graduation video did so well, is because from start to finish, you look at the video frame by frame, it's intriguing. And as each second ticks by, it gets more and more intriguing. The hype builds, and then the payoff. And it's like a whole story in a 15-second clip to where it entertains. And you look at the stats on that video and the watch time and the retention, and it's like 400%. Like, there's not a single person who skipped that video practically.
Pretty much.
It's crazy. So
maybe my grandma, but right? I don't know if my grandma even saw it. So
so I mean, entertainment and retaining they're kind of one and the same, but they're also different. So I don't know, that's kind of a tricky question, but I think it's just providing a value in whatever way that is, because there's multiple ways you can do that.
No, I think you're right, bro. I mean, I don't know. We're always analyzing and being like, how can we from a scientific standpoint, create so much hype at like certain parts of the video so that people are retained. But in reality, like you said, it's giving the person value. It's doing things and talking about things, whatever you're doing, whether you're talking, whether you're doing, performing, that is valuable intrinsically to people, where they look at it and they're gaining a new perspective, or they're gaining a lesson learned, or they're just gaining entertainment, like you said.
Right. And
something is happening that's kind of hitting their serotonin, hitting their dopamine, and they're just like, yeah, I want to keep watching this. Take, America's Got Talent, Golden Buzzer, for example. One, it's a golden buzzer, so you're like, I have to watch this whole thing because this is like the best of the best. But then you really get drawn into the story, because America's Got Talent does a really good job of telling the story of that person who's about to get the golden buzzer. And they're putting so much value on the raw, unfiltered nature of that story for that person, because America's Got Talent is, people with a story, people that come from nothing essentially, and then they make a name for themselves on this platform that's like built for that exactly. And so then it draws everybody else in, because we're just like, oh, you're one of us, and now you're crushing on your dream, and just providing that value. And it shows. It's like everybody watches America's Got Talent videos. They may not watch the show, but they watch those videos where they make an effort to specifically like package that story in a way that people are gonna just eat it up.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's wild. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Let's talk a little bit about just like the work that you've done. Talk to me about like Marvel and that project where you worked for one of the Spider-Verse or Spider-Man
No Way Home.
No Way Home. Yeah. That's right. Tell me a little bit about that. How'd you get that project? And how'd you go about it?
So that one was with my buddy Soups, who is the homie I was staying with.
Nice.
Yeah. Nice. So he has a really big social media presence in the comic book superhero world. And he creates content on that, and I used to create content in that world as well. So that's how we had linked up. Just been friends for years, and I've done a lot of creative work for him, artwork, designs, and so he had hit me up and asked me to do a flyer for this event that they needed. And he was like, we're doing this event. I booked out, AMC Burbank, it's in partnership with AMC. And, obviously we have permission from Marvel and Sony and, the big companies. So this is, going to be a really cool event. We're going to have 500 people there, whatever. It's going to be an early screening. So it'll happen 2-3 days before the movie comes out to the whole world. So practically like a premiere event to the fans who can go, and we're going to sell tickets and do our thing. So I need you to do the artwork for the event, the poster, the flyers that are going to be seen on the Eventbrite and everything. So he just hit me with that and was like, here are all the details, time, date, whatever, come up with a concept. Let's kind of make it like the movie poster, but like rebrand it in our own way and include my brand in it and whatever. So I took that idea and I hand drew a design and then combined that with some digital stuff in Photoshop, created a poster, and then it kind of just was, that was the thing, and it was sick, and got a ton of cool feedback. I got to go to that event, so I flew out to here to LA, and got to see the movie early, and one of the best experiences of my life. It was cool.
I bet, bro. Yeah. I mean, it sounds like it. It sounds like you, I mean, I saw the work, you crushed it. It looks great. Yeah. So how do you kind of get your name in the mix for those types of jobs, and kind of get to a place where you're able to work on like dope projects like that? For someone who's listening, how do you kind of get that?
I think the first thing is always having a proof of concept or work to back up what you're trying to get. So a lot of people say you need to have similar types of work to the work that you're trying to get. So, if I want to be a travel filmmaker, for example, I need to make travel films. If I want to be a concert photographer, I need to take concert photos. So, doing that in whatever form it is, trying to find a way to prove that you can do this work and trying to add your unique spin on it, I think, is important as well. Because like I started out doing concert photos and stuff, and it was hard to get, you know, big jobs and land big jobs. Like that's something that I know a lot of concert photographers struggle with, is landing big clients, landing tour gigs, stuff like that.
Yeah.
They just don't know how, because they don't have a lot of work to show for. So it's like, go shoot every local show, go offer them for free. Obviously that's where like working for free comes in.
Yeah.
If you don't have a resume, you got to work for free.
Yeah.
So you build that resume.
Yeah.
So go out, work for free, offer to provide your services and your talent in exchange for, you know, everyone needs photos. Everyone needs creative work or whatever, especially nowadays.
And you're not going through a program, even like school, like a specific program where you're getting connected to these people anyway.
Right.
So you kind of have to prove that you're worth it to bridge that gap and make those connections with people.
Yeah.
Like you don't already have that connected for yourself. So,
right. Yeah. So just having that is so important, so that when you do reach out to people, whether it's a cold DM or cold email, or, you know, even if you see somebody, you know, in person, being able to just pull up your website, pull up your portfolio, whatever it is. Hey, check out a couple pieces of my work that I've done. People get an idea of what you've done, and that's usually what gets them, you know. 100%. Rory Kramer. I had talked to Rory about, he had told me a story about how he got the job at Justin. It was same thing. Justin and Scooter saw a video of him doing his lake life series, and just him and his homies having a blast on the lake, and just, it was an authentic, raw, human video. And what intrigued Justin and Scooter was the authenticity of that video. And so Justin was intrigued, and he said, hey, I want this guy on my team because I want somebody that can capture my life like that. Because everybody looks at Justin as this, you know, crazy superstar, untouchable. So how do we bring this superstar back down to earth and, you know, bring that aspect to him? Rory did that with his video. And so Rory got the opportunity to make a video like that for Justin, and they went and did a lake video with Justin, and that was kind of like the start of his journey. And it was cool hearing that story when he told me, like, that's the proof of concept right there.
No, yeah, I totally agree. And I think also something to think about as well, in addition to that, is knowing how to convey your work and the knowledge that you have to be able to like replicate that across like so many different boards. Because if you just have the work, that's like one piece to the puzzle, and you can definitely show that to people, and it is proof of concept, like you're saying. But when you do hop on a phone call with somebody, when you meet someone in person, you have to be able to convey that in a way where they understand that you know what you're talking about, and you know that you could even convey that to a team of people and still get a job done.
Right.
And I think that's where the professional level of the work comes in. And that's not something that's always talked about, always taught. Even in college for many different professions, I think like there's like, I know like communications majors kind of get that, and they like learn how to communicate things and delegate and whatnot. But in most of your learning in college, at least for me and from people I've heard and talked with, you don't really learn how to convey that too well. It's always just like how to do it, you know, master your craft. We'll take care of like networking, master your craft.
Gotcha.
But in reality, sometimes, most of the times, getting jobs is just being able to be face to face with someone, talk about the intricacies of a certain project, the intricacies of a skill set, and how to bring that to fruition.
Right.
And if you're able to have a conversation and showcase that in verbal format, along with proving the concept and showing them work, then you're golden, you know?
Yep.
And you're able to like build that relationship really easily. And the rest kind of takes care of itself.
For sure.
What about like BTS? You talked a little bit about behind the scenes and how when you were younger with your YouTube channel, you made behind the scenes videos about like making those videos with your friends, trick shots. How important is it to document processes now and things that you're doing and opportunities that you have?
Dude, I think it's so important. Like I regret not documenting more, and I feel like it's better to over document and over film. Obviously, anyone who films videos in general knows that you should always film as much as possible, because like if you're trying to get a certain shot right, you always shoot it a bunch of times, never just shoot it once. Duh, you know, common knowledge. But with your life, it's like document everything. Even if you're not a filmmaker or a video person, like film everything. Pull out your phone, film something, like because you're gonna look back and look at those memories, and it's just gonna be, you know, that'll be the only thing you have other than in your head, you know. And so I think there's something so powerful in being able to document your life, and especially if you're doing cool stuff. So like for me, like I've been able to do a lot of cool work, and I haven't documented all of it. And so I have experience to speak from, like I am now, like, hey, you know, I did this, this, and this, and here's how. But I wasn't like vlogging it, you know. But even though I don't have to vlog it, but it would have been cool to
GoPro
shoot,
360
you know,
on your
and
head.
have footage of me shooting a show or doing, you know, something cool. And so making friends that are in the same space that'll help me shoot those things, you know. So I think it's super important, and it's the closest thing that we have to a time machine, you know, is having those videos to look back on. So.
Very true, bro. No, I completely agree. I sometimes like push myself to like be in the moment as well.
Right.
But I always kind of end up looking back and thinking about certain moments, how I wish I would have captured them a little more. Especially when it comes to family and close friends.
Oh, yeah.
You know, even just setting up a camera in the corner and capturing the essence of what's going on in a room can mean so much, like down the road.
Yeah.
You know, and I think it is important to live in the moment. And I'll always take time to admire the simple things in life without always having to pull out my phone. I do it quite a lot because I just love being able to share that with the people that I love. But at the end of the day, it is very important to like put your phone away and be in the moment. And I think both are important. And writing that fine line and balance between when to document and when not is definitely definitely a good skill to have. But when it comes to professional projects, again, proving concept. If you're working on a project and you're able to showcase that project to someone, and then also showcase, hey, here's how we did it. Here's a breakdown of what gear we used. Here's a breakdown of how the producer lined things up, a breakdown of the talent that we used and why. Again, you're explaining your process and you're explaining your skill set. And that's just another layer of added value.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And I know people get a kick out of that. I love to watch my favorite creatives, you know, their process on how they created a piece that I really, really love. Like Mitchell or Matt, you know, like I love seeing their process. And whenever they share even just a glimpse of something on how they made it, I'm like, oh my gosh, like I feel like I'm like trying to break it down and see what I can take and learn from it, because it's
almost more valuable than the actual project that they finish.
Exactly.
I agree. It's great to do research and learn as best you can, because at the end of the day, we all are teaching each other and we're learning from each other. And the reason why it's important to share with each other, not just the finished projects, but those behind the scenes moments, is so that we all become better. You know,
for sure.
It's so important to have community, I think, for that reason.
Yeah.
Have you, in your life, in your young life, by the way, how have you experienced community, and what's the importance of that? And how did you find it?
There's community in like different ways, I think. Like there's community online, and then there's community of like your circle and like people in real life, right? But the two can bleed, you know, like look at how we connected. Like, online, social media, like it's crazy. And I always just think the power of social media and just the community that can be built there, and just like the film fest that we had last night, you know, was awesome. Like, there was a community of 400 or 500 people that came together from a lot of people just online, people that flew in. You know, I flew in just to be there, to connect, to have a conversation with new people. And, you know, that's super important. And seeing how important that was to each and every person that was there at that event and at any networking or whatever type of event, it's just so cool. And it shows the value in that. And, you know, it can lead to opportunity, it can lead to jobs, it can lead to just finding a good friend, you know, which is cool. And so, like, you know, the cool thing is, I think you're a cool guy, and I think we align on a lot of things.
Make me cry. No,
we align on a lot of things, and it's cool. Like, you know, like, oh yeah, I'm not gonna just be like, yeah, let me just hop on your podcast later, dude. Like, you know, I think you're a cool guy. I like what you do, and, you know, we share a lot of interests, and so it's like I get to meet, you know, a new friend and a new homie through the internet, which is dope. But also, you know, your community, a circle of family and friends, and it's so important. And it's what keeps you going. And having a good support system, I've always said, can really elevate you to the next level. And people around you that feed into supporting you and loving on you and being a positive influence to you can just make a world of a difference. And your ability to believe in yourself, your ability to, you know, do certain things, even though you should always know your own worth and, you know, personally believe in yourself and not rely on the opinions of others, it's good to have the close people that you trust support that as well.
Yeah, I agree. Kindness is impactful. Treating people with love and respect, being able to just cultivate that in community. Whether someone is your close homie or whether someone is, you know, someone that you're just passing on the street, or kind of like that third connection in a larger community, being able to show that to them and actually genuinely care, I think, too. And I think that's a good segue into where even faith plays a part into it. And the way that Jesus kind of like molds individual hearts is his ability to change us from the inside out and allow us to change from like a kind of resentful, hateful type person to someone who exudes kindness, exudes love, and genuine care. You know, I find myself sometimes where, like, my sin nature is like, oh, like, forget that guy, like, don't give him the time of day. And then I like sit there and like kind of look inward, and I'm like, okay, but God, what are you saying? You know, because I know I'm not supposed to hate somebody.
Right.
And then he's like, no, actually go talk to that person. And instead of thinking about yourself like you're doing right now, ask how their day is doing.
Right.
Like, ask how they're doing, ask how their day is going. Genuinely care about what they do. And then I'll be like, okay. And maybe a little bit resentful still, go over, make that effort, and just blessing pours from that conversation.
Yeah.
And it's crazy how the enemy tries to get in between all of that and just mess it up and like throw lies in your head and tell you that you shouldn't care about a person just based off of like an assumption that you made.
Right.
Yeah.
Being intentional with your conversation. Yeah.
Exactly. And it's so cool to be able to push each other and grow in certain things that we're doing. But if our focus isn't on, one, God, and then two, each other, it's not going to be fruitful in the long run. I'm a firm believer in that.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I don't know where you're at, but that's where I'm at.
I think that's true.
Yeah. But it is tough too. I want to hear your thoughts on even just when it comes to like close friends and accountability, because you mentioned that. You mentioned just having like a closer circle that you can have true impact on and with. How do you kind of navigate, you know, being truthful with your friends, holding people accountable, and then also loving them too? Because I think that's like a fine balance there.
Yeah, it is a balance. That's what I would say is, you know, it's a balance of finding that line, right? Of, you know, always being loving. I think leading with love is important. So that should be the first thing, you know? And I think that's how Jesus led.
Yeah.
And that's how I like to look at it, is like, you know, Jesus may have like rebuked some people or, you know, told them the truth, right? But I feel like he always led with love, and he always approached with love.
Yeah.
You know, there are instances where, you know, he, you know, would do
flipped a
things,
table,
right? Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking of. He flipped the table, right? But, you know, he didn't go over to certain people and just automatically be like, you know, condemning them. Like, I feel like Jesus he's the message of love. He's the definition of love, obviously. So like, he leads with love, and he just has a way of, you know, intertwining those things together. So it's just trying to be obviously more like Jesus in that way of leading with love and, you know, empathy, right? But also, you know, knowing the truth and standing firm in what you believe in and what you know to be true.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I agree. How do you lead with love in a practical sense?
I think it's being quick to not judge, being quick to remember that you're also not perfect, and you also mess up, and you're no better than the person that you're talking to, and just being kind, right? You know, approaching someone, not, you know, the tone of voice, the body language, the way you do it, the way you say it is important. So yeah, and just having, like we talked about earlier, a good intention of like be intentional with your conversation, and you know, ask the Holy Spirit and God to guide you through that, you know.
Yeah, dude, I agree. Tell me a little bit, let's dig a little deep, bro. Tell me a little about your story, your testimony, specifically when it comes to your faith, yes, but also the creative work that you do. Like, why do you do the creative work you do, and how does your relationship with Jesus play into that?
Yeah. I feel like I was given gifts, and it's pretty obvious that I was.
Yeah.
And I don't believe that those just come from nothing. I don't believe that's random. I believe that anyone with a talent or a gift was blessed by God to have that.
Yeah.
Now it's up to us what we're going to do with that and which way we're going to swing that towards.
Yep.
But I believe that God has blessed me with credible gifts and talents and opportunities and just everything, you know? And so I want to use that to bring glory to his name, obviously, because it's almost like a thank you. Because what did I do to deserve that, right?
Nothing.
Yeah, nothing. So
didn't do jack.
Yeah.
Jack anything.
Literally. So it's like, you know, I'm blessed with these gifts and these abilities, and it's truly a blessing. So I think it's looking at those and knowing that they're a blessing, and being thankful for it, not getting prideful and egotistical and like, oh, I did this, look at me, right? You know, like just being like, thank you, like I couldn't do this without you. And that's kind of where I've always sat with it. And it's like also the passion behind it and the fire and the love of it, right? I feel like that is good and it feels pure. And I feel like the Holy Spirit will guide you on, you know, that you'll know, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like I just know that when I'm creating and when I'm doing something, when I'm proud of it, when it impacts people in a positive way, then I'm doing what I was put on this earth to do, and that I was almost destined, or I believe in destiny. I believe in destiny by God.
Providential nature.
Right.
Yeah.
I believe he
an
did
all-knowing
that.
God knowing a plan that he set forth.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I believe that's kind of just how it works. And so that's what keeps me going and keeps me pursuing my dreams and not giving up on them, no matter what comes my way. It's like I was given these for a reason, and I don't want to just throw them away, you know, because I'm doing not only God a disservice, but myself a disservice, you know, both. a disservice if I just do nothing with it.
Yep. Yeah, I agree, bro. I couldn't have said it better. Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. And success is even like a really interesting thing to think about when it comes to a relationship with God. Because like you were saying, it's not like you did anything to place things in your path, to place opportunities in your path to take advantage of them. It's not like you did anything to put yourself in a position where you could go spend eternal life with Jesus anyway. So the way I look at it is I'm this like meek and lowly human that has been humbled to the max by a realization of the one type of person I am and the type of person I could be if I like let sin take over completely. And then the realization that I actually can't control myself and I can't control my flesh by myself. And giving up that like, I don't know, the ability to think that I can do anything by myself, and allowing God to come and change my heart and change who I am. And then in the process of doing that, also save me.
Yeah.
And send his son to die on a cross so that I can go live eternally and not be in hell. Kind of wild.
Yeah.
Kind of puts me in a place of just like, I don't know, just awe.
Yeah.
You know,
awe, gratitude.
Like gratitude. Yeah. Just makes me want to worship, makes me want to give everything to him, do everything for him. Yeah. Nothing else is really worth it at that point.
Yeah.
But then the success, the blessing, anything added on top, a banger sunset that I get to see, a nice breeze of a walk, a hug from my mom, a great opportunity to make a film, to meet that one person, to do that certain thing, to receive money for a job that I did.
Mm-hmm.
It's just too much. It's just like, all I can do with that is give glory to the one that gave that to me, that gave me the opportunity and the gifts and the talents to do that, to earn that. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, bro. Just super humbling, bro. Super humbling.
Yeah.
When you're creating, when you're doing your craft, taking to the next level, is there a difference between creating from a place that we're talking about of like humility, and then also creating when you're in kind of like a place of thinking that you're kind of all that,
right,
and a bag of chips?
I don't know. I feel like we're human, so we're not always gonna do everything with pure intentions. No, obviously. But I feel like we'll always have it'll be back and forth, but it's just, I think just remembering to be grateful is what I think of, is like, just be grateful that I have hands that can even create this, and I have eyes that can see and do this, and like just being grateful for all those little things and continuing to look at it that way so that I can create in that way more often. But also just, obviously we create for fun, and we create just for fun. So, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
No, I think that's actually biblical.
Yeah.
I think it's biblical to just create for fun and create for the sole purpose of creating. You know? There obviously is a purpose, but it is good to have that mentality of just being with the Lord and using the gift that he gave you. Yeah. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, bro. How do you view your impact on the internet? And is there anything that you do or kind of think of when you're creating and when you're putting content on the internet, to have like an impact on people, a positive impact on people?
I think you like answered it at the same time as you asked it.
Oh, my bad.
That's kind of what that's it, is just trying to be trying to have an impact,
Mm-hmm.
and trying to be a good influence, trying to make sure that everything that I put out is, of course, family friendly. Anybody can watch it. It can appeal to as many people as possible, and it can just impact and inspire. Those are my two things: impact and inspire.
Mm-hmm.
So if it can do that, then that's the goal. So
how do you impact and how do you inspire?
Impact, I think, is leaving a lasting message, leaving something that makes them think about it for a long time after they saw it. So not just watching a video and be like, oh, that was cool, whatever, on to the next one. Really being like, wow, like, oh my gosh, like, let me like think about this, and maybe cause an effect to their life because of that, in whatever way that may be. And sometimes that impact can lead to inspiration. This had such a big impact on me, feelings wise, whatever, emotionally, that I'm inspired to now go do something like this or whatever. I watch, some guy go give away money on YouTube, or, go do something nice and bless somebody, and I'm impacted by that video. It touches my soul. I might shed a tear or two. Yeah. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, there's the impact. And then I get inspired. You know what? I've been blessed. God has blessed me. How do I go use my blessing to do that to somebody else? So I then get inspired by that, and then I go do the same thing. So I think they kind of go hand in hand, which is cool. Yeah. But they're different, but they work together.
Yeah, I agree, man. I agree. I think, I think what you said is so good, and sometimes hard to remember, easy to forget. Yeah. But very important. I think that's another reason why even now I like push myself even more, try to push myself as much as possible to dig in and just really draw near close to the Lord every day, because on any given day I can wake up and like forget those things, right? And then I can lose sight of what I'm doing and why I'm doing it, and then it just kind of becomes like a monotonous task, Right. Yeah.
I think in a secular way too, it's just being authentic and making authentic content and making stories, telling stories, being a storyteller. Because if you can do that authentically and, provide that, then I feel like that does the same thing, to an extent.
Yeah. But no, it definitely does. There's a ripple effect that happens. Yeah. Yeah. I think that's so important to really dig deep and find out the purpose behind, what you're called to do. And that's why we talk about it so much on this podcast, because if we're not realizing on a deeper level what we're called to and why we're called to do it, we're, one, being a disservice to ourselves, and two, being a disservice to God, because He gives us specific gifts and He gives us specific skill sets and talents, the ability to communicate with people for a reason. Right. And if we're able to be faithful with that, even if it only impacts 5 people around us, God is going to take that little seed. He's going to plant that seed in those 5 people. He's going to show His love through you to those 5 people. And then those 5 people are going to go and they're going to show that love to 2, 3, 10 more people. And then the ripple effect just is massive. Yep. And so when people see movements of God or movements of love or just like heart change, it's not because a group of people woke up one day and were like, oh, all right, let's go do this. Yeah. It's because one person was like, I'm going to be faithful and I'm going to do this. I'm going to obey what the Lord has called me to do. And instead of treating this person with hate, I'm going to treat them with love and respect, even though it's the hardest thing to do right now. I'm going to get on my knees and I'm going to seek after God and ask Him to allow me the strength to be able to do this because I know I can't do it by myself. And then that person does it. And then another person, apart from that person, has the same conviction, has the same feeling, and then they answer the Lord and they do it. And then before you know it, you have a whole group of people that are on fire for God because they made that single choice to obey and to draw near to God. And then that created this whole ripple effect. And that's where you get movements and radical changes and everything. And it's just not, it's not like a group think. It's an individual heart change in each person. Right. And without that, like, nothing happens.
Yeah. That's
nothing happens, bro. I want to close this out with a really interesting question. I think about this a lot. And when we're just talking about just like kind of dreams and skills and gifts that God gives us, to kind of like hit me a little bit. But how do you know that a specific dream or calling is from the Lord? Like, how do you discern that personally?
I don't know, man. It's hard. I think like a lot of dreams, at least in
Mike, yeah.
At least I think a lot of dreams, in my sense at least, can swing either way. So it makes it hard. So like for me, it's like,
how's that?
For me, it's like, does it come for the world in the sense of I want to be, stroke my ego and be really famous and get a lot of attention and, that side of it, the superficial stuff, make a lot of money, right? Do this and this, or going on the other side of don't want to make an impact, don't want to touch lives, looking at it from, can I just reach not even 5 people? Can I just reach one person? Because that one person that's it, like one person at a time, right? Yeah. So making an impact and inspiring people and showing the love of Jesus through what I do and making that clear, right? There's many different ways you can go. So it's tough, but I think it's just always asking the Lord and being very in tune with him, because if you're not, you won't know. And I think that's probably the best answer there is talk to the guy himself and he will reveal that to you.
Gotta spend time in the prayer closet.
Right. But he I feel like he does give you certain desires, and the Bible talks about that. Like, he will put things on your heart. And so it may be hard to decipher between the two, but I think it's still important to just make sure your relationship is in tune, and it'll get revealed, and have pure intentions and lead with love, like we're talking about, and just think, would he approve of this? What can I do to give back? And what can I do to, again, make an impact with this for his kingdom? Like, can I do that with this? If yes, then absolutely.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, I love that, and I agree with it. I think, like you said, spending time with God, seeking righteousness as well, and like knowing the heart of God, and then you will know what he wants for your life.
Right.
Yeah, bro. I love it.
Heck yeah.
Let's go. Well, dude, thank you so much, bro, for being on. What does the next 6 months for Sebby Clemens look like? What are you looking forward to the most? And
I think I'm really excited to get back into just putting stuff out. I think it's been way too long. The past probably year and a half has been really, really idle for me, and really slow in terms of output. I've done a lot, on paper, accomplishments, accolades, whatever, but I just am not satisfied with the work that I put out in terms of volume and just being consistent. So I think it's just taking things to the next level by not focusing on like milestones per se, followers, numbers, whatever, but just making good things that I'm really, really proud of, that are continuing to make an impact even more than previous work. But also just doing it more frequently and finding a schedule, finding a balance, finding something that works for me in my life. And, in turn, I think everything else will follow. The followers, the money, right? The providing, right? That'll all follow if I focus on just creating good work. And, you know, I'm one I'll say, like, don't create for the algorithm, create for people. Like, I'm not going to turn into some Mr. Beast type of person where I'm just making videos just to, you know, with no soul. Like, I want to make videos that even if they don't do as well, I'm really proud of, and it touches that one person, you know. Especially after the film fest last night, seeing so many of those projects. If I can put projects out like that more often, then that's it, you know.
Let's go. Sebby Clemens, the deep thinker, the filmmaker. I'm excited to see it, bro.
Heck yeah.
I'm gonna keep you accountable. That's for sure.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it because I need somebody too.
Of course, bro. Of course. Yeah, I see it. I see the vision, and I see your heart behind things. So I'm excited to see what you do, bro. And I'm excited to see how God continues to mold you, and just push you into being a better filmmaker, better creator, and just a better friend and son, and all the above to those around you, bro.
Right.
So heck yeah, bro. Go follow Sebby. Go hit him up. He's the backflip king. We'll have all his links in the description. Well, I appreciate you. Thank you for coming all the way out to California and hopping on and just giving me your time.
Thank you.
Heck yeah. All right, guys. Stay easy. Peace.